Hello, everyone, and welcome to D2C Dialogues. Today, we have with us Abhishek Negi, founder, Eggoz Nutrition. What is Eggoz? At Eggoz, they make a meaningful impact to improve the protein consumption of people by enriching the lives of rural egg farmers. Rural egg farmers across the country, especially in northern states of India like MP, UP, Bihar, whether temperature swings in extremes, have a major challenge in terms of keeping the production quality intact with little or no access to modern technologies, good quality feeds, veterinary advice, and getting their eggs to a larger audience. Contaminated feeds or using feed like DDGS without any knowledge of their nutritive value can have an impact on egg production. Technology is an integral part of farm operations with Eggoz. Data and real-time monitoring play an important role in identifying deviations early and optimizing bird performance for profitable business for farmers. As far as the retail customers in urban and semi-urban markets are concerned, the eggs that one consumes has had only the date of packaging mentioned, with no clarity on when the eggs were laid. There is no mandatory requirement for these eggs to be packaged within a day or two or to be stored under proper storage conditions. The brand Eggoz was born to solve this problem end to end, to make sure the production of the egg farmers are packed, UV sanitized, and brought to real stores within 1 day's time of laying, thereby completely preserving the nutritional value of the egg. Every Eggoz egg you buy is your solidarity to the farmers of rural India and a promise to yourself to consume eggs that are free of any bad stuff. Abhishek, with this introduction, I think the whole genesis of what Eggoz is understood. But let me take you back to those days where you were contemplating, and how did this idea of getting into a business or creating a brand in from an egg, arrived?
So first of all, Hitesh, I must thank you for having me on this interview. Thank you so much, and it is my privilege to be here. To answer your question, so the story of Eggoz goes back 6 years from today. We founded this. We came together, the founders. We came together in 2017, where we realized that the demand for the conscious demand for clean and sustainable food is growing tremendously fast in India, and consumers are moving towards food that is safer for them and also can also give back to the farmer community in a way. On top of it, we also started to think that what essentially is the future of food, and in a way, we see that the demand is going to be consistently growing for all food items and cleaner food, but the supply chain and the supply is not geared up. And with that intersection and with our experience of going after difficult problems and trying to have very tough problems to solve and find difficult challenges, and to have something of our own and to build our own startup, we all came together in 2017 to found Eggoz. We realized that in eggs, the quality of eggs in retail, in Indian retail, is really bad. It is a very big category. We consume more than 35 to 40 crore eggs on a daily basis. On value terms, it would be around 85,000 to 90,000 crore of value on an annual basis for this business. However, the quality of eggs in retail is not fresh. Eggs take typically 8 to 10 days in reaching the retail counters. They're extremely dirty by the time they reach the retail counters. Because of non-freshness, there is nutritional loss. So the eggs that you're eating will not give you the nutritional profile or the protein you are seeking. A problem, one of the problems we also face in Indian eggs is that they also smell. They have a typical, eggy smell, the ande wali smell, which is very typical and is actually abnormal. Second, when we looked at the backend side, we realized that the farming practices are not really standardized. Every farmer is trying to cut cost and are trying to, find their own ways. And there is heavy usage of concentrates, chemicals, antibiotics in production. So we realized that the consumption of eggs is growing tremendously fast at 16-17% year on year. And consumers are adopting this product in their food diet for the protein needs increasingly, right? So it was a very sweet spot for us that we realized that this is a growing category. There is no dominant player, there is no national brand in this category, and it has a lot of problems to solve, which can be solved with the help of technology and good processes and a scalable business model. So that was our motivation. We dove straight in that let's build Eggoz. This is an opportunity where we can build the Amul for eggs, and let's go after it and start building the company.
I think this introduction is a classic example of anybody who wants to do a startup or anybody who wants to start a new business. What I could comprehend is, you saw an opportunity. First of all, the opportunity is huge. 85,000 crores worth value of eggs are being sold every year. That means 35 to 40 crore eggs are being consumed every day. Second, you thought that there are a lot of problems to solve. What are the problems? The quality, the freshness, farmers using chemicals, antibiotics, etc. Cutting cost, etc. All these were the problems that need to be solved. And then a scalable business model with the numbers you said. Plus, you are looking to solve the problems by getting a clean brand, a sustainable brand, a safer brand, a brand committed to the society, and obviously looking at the future of food. So all this keeping together, I think, Abhishek, you have got a fantastic brand known as Eggoz. My second question to you is, what exactly Eggoz means from a brand perspective? Since you have given all these areas, if I have to ask you, what does brand Eggoz mean? What would be your answer?
So my answer would be it has taken us a lot of time to essentially come to the brand persona, the brand architecture, especially for a brand that is trying to build a space in a commodity, right? So it's an entirely commoditized space. So for Eggoz, we are a branded eggs company. By Eggoz, we are a company and we are a team and a culture where we are extremely obsessed about this one product, which is eggs. It starts right from which feed to give to our birds, what should be the feed ingredients, it should be herbal, what should be the right quantified nutrition for the birds that we can get better and more nutritious eggs after production from the birds. How do we preserve this nutrition and get it to consumers very, very quickly? So where we focus on one day freshness and UV sanitization, the entire processing goes into play. So as a brand, Eggoz stands for a brand which is extremely obsessed about one product, which is eggs, and that is why you can also find it in our name. It is Eggoz. We cannot sell anything else, under the name Eggoz. It's always going to be eggs. Uh, I also say we are a branded eggs company because today we sell, various kinds of table eggs, which are raw eggs. We're also coming out with very exciting products in value-added range, in a fortified egg range. We already have some in the market, and we are essentially trying to build the entire category and organize it from end to end. So one of the things which is there that it's not only about building a brand on the front end, but the industry is so fragmented that we have to build the rest of the supply chain and rest of the value chain as well along the way. So Ego stands for all of that in obsession to get you the most nutritious and herbal and most safe eggs for your daily consumption.
So this was the outer part of what you said. But inside this brand that you have created from a commodity, we would like to know, how did you manage to create this whole business setup? And supply chain is the biggest part of it. You have a tech background. and you have got an idea which is a commodity, and that is an egg. You have to solve so many problems, at least these 3 4 major problems. So how did you manage your supply chain? So when once you and your co-founders decided that we want to make a business or our startup or our careers in this one product, that is eggs, how did you went about doing it?
So I can say this, that when we started out, we're all engineers, right? So we knew anda about anda. None of us were from poultry industry. None of us are from agri backgrounds and all of that. But we were extremely excited about this opportunity. So what we realized and what we finalized on a very fundamental level, that if we are to build a brand in food, then the product has to speak for itself. The product quality has to be the best. And second, it has to be standardized in any location where we're selling. So be it, today we sell in Delhi, Bangalore, Kolkata, and we also look to expand to more cities. Product has to be exactly the same. Now for eggs, the challenge is that how do you standardize a shelled product? You cannot, check the quality by looking at from the outside. So this was a challenge, and what we realized that since we're not from this industry, we know nothing about this. So let's do farming ourselves for a few years. So we were working on various agriculture projects and agri-tech projects in Bihar. We took a land on lease over there, put some capital in setting up our first poultry farm in Bihar, in Nalanda district, deployed around 12,000 birds over there and started right from there. Over time, expanded to other states with our own poultry farming business model, and Eggoz brand was not born at that point of time. We did poultry farming ourselves for 3 years in multiple states, Bihar, MP, UP. And post-COVID, we realized that this is the tipping point where now consumers are even more aware and educated about the right quality of food and the right hygiene around food and how it is getting to my home. And eggs are becoming more and more adopted for its nutritional and immunity boosting reasons. So let's launch the brand. So Eggo's brand that you see today is fairly new. It's around 2.5 years old only, but it has come. The genesis has been that we spent tremendous amount of time, around 3 years, in perfecting the model, in learning about production, in learning about the science and the technology integrations, so that I can go on my basic principle, which is that the product has to be the best and it has to be standardized in whichever location we are selling. So it took us some time to reach that.
So cheap and standardize. I think standardize is the right challenge, or maybe it was one of the most challenging parts of your business. So can we say that all the eggs of Eggoz are standardized?
So absolutely, as a brand, and we say very openly that we want to build the Amul for eggs. And I think Amul, which has led the white revolution, stands for one thing, which is you you can put your trust on the products. We're extremely good, and this stands for all of the phenomenal food brands that we have in our country. Where we trust them for our daily needs. For a category like eggs, which is your daily habit, it's your you consume eggs daily. We wanted to build a product and reach process and tech so that every time you're getting Eggo's products and Eggo's eggs, they have to be similar, they have to be standardized. Then only any consumer will be able to put their trust on the brand.
When you put that farm in Bihar and 12,000 birds with your capital, after that, what was the major challenge? Because you yourself wanted to make your hands dirty and get the first hand experience about how the whole egg farming happens. Once you achieved that, uh, uh, what was your next step? Because you had to build a brand. How did you market yourself? Was it online? Was it offline? What about the existing players in the area, state, etc.? Were there any impediments there to overcome to achieve these objectives?
I think looking back, our road of the entire journey has been challenging to an effect. Uh, in our initial days, the challenge was that we had to set up poultry farming business from scratch when we knew nothing about it. And this meant constructing a farm, the entire farm and warehouse. And we're not civil engineers, we don't know construction. This also meant deploying day-old chicks that are very delicate and require a huge amount of care. And none of us are from, livestock background or anything. So those were the initial challenges where you had to learn on the go and still, maintain your revenue, your profitability, and your cash flows in a way so that your business keeps on running. I think towards the point when we were gearing up to launch our brand and when we did our initial pilots in Gurgaon and we started launching it, our major challenges were that this was a very new category. Now, when we speak about retail environment, say general trade or even modern trade, at that point of time, had not seen a branded eggs company. There were regional players. There are still regional players who do really well, and we respect those brands and labels out there. But the perception of retail was that कि अंडों में brand नहीं बन सकता. And this is the commodity why you're trying to brand it, right? And why you're trying to charge a premium of the same product. आप ₹6 के अंडे के लिए आप ज्यादा कैसे charge कर सकते? This was the perception, and it took a lot of time and effort and hard work from all I can say all of the field staff and Eggoz team members to get that understanding out to consumers, to retail partners, and get all of these retail partners onboarded. But the good news is that today, after all of this effort, now all of the retail partners who are working with us are really supportive of the brand, of the product quality, because they're able to see the consumer delight, and consumers have adopted Eggoz on a regular basis. They like the retail partners that they're keeping Eggoz, and it also speaks of the quality focus, that if the quality is great for a food brand, and if a retailer is not getting too many complaints about your food brand, and the consumers are essentially asking for it, kya ek Eggoz ka packet dena, then the retailer will support you, and they will essentially be your brand ambassadors, be your evangelists, and promote your brand. But yeah, I can say the biggest challenge in the initial days of setting up the brand was just to push and break this perception कि हर अंडा अंडा नहीं होता है.
हर अंडा अंडा नहीं होता. Yes, that's why Eggoz is there. कि हर Eggoz होता है जो standardized होता है. You operate under a tech-enabled asset-light farmer model, that farmer integration model. Can you give us some more insights on what exactly you mean by asset-light farmer integration model?
Absolutely. By asset-light, I mean that as a company today, we do not own any birds, we do not own any farms. This is to ensure that as we scale up and try to sell more and more eggs and go tap say 80, 100 cities of the country in the coming years, we are not always stuck by our capex deployment and our capital expenditure in setting up the farms and then running them. So for us, asset light is where we work with farmers and we fully integrate with them with our plug and play business model, where we change the entire farming guidelines, the feed, how the farmer is supposed to use technology and IoT inside the farm. We change all of that so that the eggs that are coming out from the farm get standardized. And this is the work where we put in the initial 3 years to arrive to this model. Now, another challenge is that asset light to humne kar diya, that now we have partnered with farmers, we're procuring from them. But second challenge is that how do you manage say 50 farmers across the country? How do you manage 100 farmers across the country where these farm locations are placed remotely in villages and distributed across the geography, right? And how do you manage this kind of scale? Now, this is where technology plays a big role in today's age, where we work with farmers to help them and suggest better guidelines with respect to how you should improve your farm's environment, how to improve your ventilation, what should be the feed formulation for your birds, which is very customized to your bird. This is provided by us and is also mandated to be herbal. We do not use chemicals in any of our value chain whatsoever. Now, post procurement is where I can say, the next part of the hard work starts is that how do you get lakhs and lakhs of eggs to consumers within 1 day of laying? आज मुर्गी ने अंडा दिया कल मार्केट में होना चाहिए. This is the business model. So this is where technology plays a big role in helping us manage this big inventory and flowing it through the system and keep a track on each and every egg. In our entire processing value chain, each and every egg is checked for defects, checked for cracks, checked for, say, any abnormalities if there are in terms of livestock production, and each and every egg is properly processed, UV sanitized, graded, and then packed in Eggoz packets. And there are very high rejection rates. Even sometimes where, say, the bird health is not good, or we enter a new region and there's still some time in getting the farming on track, farming guidelines on track. So there are, we don't compromise with the quality that is getting packed. But yeah, but tech plays a big role in ensuring the entire supply chain end to end.
You did mention about helping the farmers. Now, don't you think the every farmer will be a different farmer, and the products, the birds that he may be having, the products that he must be, getting from those birds would be of different quality. How do you standardize that? And second part is about, you spoke about, checking each and every egg, grading every egg, sanitizing every egg, packing every egg. Don't you think all these processes will add to the cost, ultimately making the product more costlier to the consumer?
So on your point of every farmer being different. So yes, in a way, yes, every farmer is different. They have their own set of experiences. They have faced their own set of challenges, and they've had their own share of successes and failures in the past. So they have their own farming style, which as a company we thoroughly respect. However, based on our learnings through our initial years, where we experimented through a lot of things and went through a lot of changes, and we were some kind of alpha beta testing that we did in our system to learn about what does the bird need on a very deep basis from a very research point of view, that this is the feed that a bird would need in any given kind of setup. This is the changes in feed that the bird would need on a regular basis. This also depends on the weather conditions, on the age of the birds, on the ailments. कल बारिश हो गई तो feed में क्या changes होने चाहिए, things like this, if there are any abrupt changes. So this is handled by us on a regular basis, and also standardized with all the farmers, curated to the bird's need. At the end of the day, the the living being who is laying the eggs, who is producing the eggs, is the bird. So we have to listen to the bird. What does the flock need? What is the nutritional profile? What is the quantified diet that will be given to the bird, that so that the birds are healthier and happier, and the production is also good, which in turn is profitable for the farmers. Now, one thing which is very common across the farmer community is that every farmer wants to earn more. They want to have better working capital cycles for them. They want to have better payment terms. They want to get payments directly in their bank accounts, because they also have to make forward payments to feed and doctors, etc. So all of this is provided by us. That we buy their eggs at a premium to local commodity rates. We pay directly to their bank accounts, and we pay them on time. And most of, so that they can be rest assured that their working capital periods are very well aligned. Now, coming to the second point of how do we process, each and every egg, how do we look at it? So, Hitesh, it comes to our, very core thesis that we are building a brand where consumers can put their trust on. And for that, we have to put in all of the investments behind, so that a consumer does not get a bad experience. Because if you were to organize the entire sector, give better incomes to farmer, and give better protein to consumers, and better tasting product, then we will have to do the hard work which is involved in it. We will have to invest in the cost which is involved in it, and still keep it affordable for consumers. So our products definitely, on a very objective basis, are expensive compared to, say, the loose egg and the unorganized egg, which are again, say untraceable. We don't know where they're coming from, how old they are, what kind of feed has been used in that. We don't know all of that. But with us, we're able to deliver a product that does not smell, has great taste, is actually nutritious for you, which is backed by lab testing.
Does the taste change when you get all these processes in the whole ecosystem? And without these processes, the egg remains the same or the taste of the egg changes?
On that, I would say that eggs, as a very on a very fundamental basis, right? Egg is a tasteless product. अंडे का inherently कोई taste नहीं होता. But there are some qualities which can change. So now, number one is that an Eggoz egg will not smell, because there are certain herbal feed that are used. Eggs are fresh and they do not smell. Second, because they are fresh and made with the better feed, when you make something out of it, they will fluff better. So omelets will be fluffier. Normally, we see that consumers will put in, say, a drop or two of milk in while making their omelets, right, to give that fluffiness. With Eggoz egg, you don't need that. They will be naturally fluffy and much more tastier. Now, beyond this, when you make any food item which is very specific to the consumers, I think it depends on your taste profile. But what we can ensure are the characteristic of the product, that it will not smell, it will be clean, so that there are no dirt marks on the egg. And lastly, when you make something out of it, that orange, the yolk will be dark orange, it will be thick and firm, and will also ensure that your final products are great looking and fluffier, which will give you the nutrition that you're looking for, and still have a great breakfast or lunch or a dinner experience.
So definitely it has an impact.
Oh, absolutely.
Abhishek, you mentioned about IoT and the other tech features. Can you explain us what exactly IoT and Eggoz and the farmers combination is all about? How do you use IoT in this whole process?
Sure. So Hitesh, on a very fundamental level, the quality of the eggs and the productivity of the birds, it depends on the levels of stress on the birds. Now, India has extreme weather conditions, right? Say when we are in regions of Haryana and even in UP, it will go extremely hot to the degree of 55 degrees. But in winters, it will also drop to 5 degrees as well. So there are a lot of changes that happen through the year. But the birds are it's a very small living being that has a very tremendous impact. So our IoT intervention are around to measure the environmental impacts on the birds. We measure a lot of things like temperature, humidity, and various other technical aspects which are measured along the way. And our backend on a constant basis will see what is the stress and what are the heat stress indexes around the birds. And basis on this, we will deploy certain measures in the farm. For example, if the temperature of the farm is being reported to be very high, and the humidity is also very high, in a way, say it is in UPV, observe this, then it is very, very, very clear that in the coming days, the productivity of the bird will start dropping. And as a company, we can quickly respond this and give this feedback to the farmers that you should do something about it. And here are 3 things that you should do on a step-by-step manner on the farm side. On the contrary, if the temperature is normal and the humidity is also normal, but we observe that the productivity of the flock is dropping down, this is also an alarming situation, because these are initial signs of a disease which has come into the farm. So as soon as these happens, then our teams of field staff or veterinarian doctors, they will quickly administer a first aid and will go to the farm for a proper diagnosis, proper symptom-based diagnosis, so that we can catch this at the source. And if there is a infection, a viral infection or a flu infection, then we can quickly quarantine the birds and not let it infect the rest of the flock. So these are few of the examples I'm telling you, which are some use cases from the IoT stuff.
Coming to the working capital, the cash flows, it was not easy in the initial days, that we can understand. But how have you managed your cash flows? Because as you rightly said, initial 1, 2, 3 years went into the R&D and things like that. And what about the funding part which came later? So can you just throw some light there about your cash flows and the funding part, Abhishek?
So we are a venture-backed company. We have raised venture capital from marquee investors. Our most recent round was a Series B round, which was led by Ivy Cap, and we also count NAP Ventures, Avana Capital, and Rebright Partners as the major institutional investors who have led funding rounds in a company. Uh, During our initial years, which was when we were doing farming business and were more focused on R&D, we were very fortunate to be backed by angel investors and also micro funds at that point of time. And it is because of their support and their risky investment at that point of time that Eggoz is what it is today. In the most recent years, we have been fortunate to partner with investors who have backed us with serious capital and large capital so that we can scale up and reach a larger user base, and which has helped us in building and solidifying the supply chain. As far as the core fundamentals go, we as a company are very much focused on profitability and on the core, as much as I can share on this call. On the core of it, we are profitable on markets level and are increasing our margins and are moving towards overall company profitability very soon. But yes, cash flow basis, we are supported by investors and also our consumers who are who are very regular with Eggoz and they buy our products on a regular basis.
Now let's come to marketing and distribution, Abhishek. From a distribution perspective, how you started with an offline and then went online. There's a
Yes.
reverse there. Where all are you selling? How did you start first? What was your TG and which were your markets? And where are you currently selling?
So the first Eggoz packet was sold in a Kirana store.
In a
Is
Kirana
what
store.
in a Kirana store is what I can
Okay.
say. And this started post-COVID, the wave one of post-COVID, which is late 2020, is when we started to do our pilot of launching the brand and building the initial distribution. Today, how it looks is that on the front end, the products are available in omni-channel, which is be it your Blinkit, Zepto, Instamart, Big Basket, all of these quick commerce and e-commerce platforms. It is also available with all of the offline organized retail with all of the major brands out there and good category in these places. And lastly, general trade is where which is a very fast growing category for Eggoz, and more retailers are coming to Eggoz to get onboarded and partner with us to bring Eggoz products to consumers. As far as target audience go, I think at the core of it, we want to build a household brand, and we really understand that in any given Indian household, the mother plays a very big role in deciding what should come inside the household, and what kind of diet should go to her family members and especially to her children. So our target audience is very much specifically focused towards getting in that household and convincing the decision maker that this is a good product and you should try it, and try to consume it on a regular basis. This is what we do on a entire communication and brand building is centered around this. As you move forward in terms of distribution, I think for us right now, most important is going deeper in our current markets, and also important to open very strategic markets out there where we can find the right fit of target audience and keep deepening these relationships and growing our wallet share, which is very important for profitability.
Nice. From a marketing and communications perspective, I would like to touch upon one of the campaigns of the many, and that was Eggs Sabse Best campaign, which has created a lot of buzz. So, what inspired you to make this campaign, and what were the main objectives, and how did it impact?
So, see, this in this sector, more than 97% of the eggs are still sold in loose format. So when you look at it on a very fundamental level, there is need of converting people from unbranded to branded. and convincing them about that you should not eat unorganized and branded eggs because these are untraceable and not essentially best for you. But you should shift towards branded and reliable sources of eggs and protein because you can put your trust over certain brands. And with Eggoz, we are the brand that has put in a lot of obsession in building the product which is out there and getting it to consumers in very short time and maintaining the highly nutritious values with herbal feed. So the campaign's objective is essentially to create awareness and education about this category, and so that we can shift people from unbranded to branded, where our efforts are in line to essentially grow the category and grow the packaged category in a way, with Eggoz being on the forefront and leading the category.
So to create the impact, to grow the category, to make consumers more healthier is the whole objective. I like the concept of growing the category by creating this kind of communication campaigns, because it also tells the consumers the benefits of having a branded egg and the benefits of eggs overall. Now with this, we are coming to the last leg of our discussion. You have done so much for the farmers. What impact has it created in the farmer's life?
So in terms of impact, number one thing which we try, which is our promise to farmers, is that Eggoz will become your reliable partner in your farming business, which means that every farmer, the number one stress for a farmer is that who is going to buy my eggs at the right price. And this is a major pain point for the farmer community. We know this because this used to be our major pain point when we used to be farmers. So we understand this on a very empathetic level, and a very fundamental level. So our impact and our proposition to farmers is that we will be your reliable partners, which is that we will give you better rates and be your partner in improving your productivity and P&L through and through. So it starts right from feed, where we give all of our quantified nutrition feed formulation program for free of cost to farmers to ensure that the bird egg production is better, the birds are healthier, so there is less mortality, and the productivity also grows, which is straight addition to your bottom line. Second, we provide free of cost doctor services, regular veterinarian services, and any regular advisory which is required for farmers, because we truly believe that if your farmers are successful, if they are becoming more and more successful, then Eggoz will find its success by by first making our farmers successful. Lastly, we are very much diligent on our payment terms. Most of our payment terms are within few days of procurement. They are directly to your bank accounts, which is a very critical factor for farmers, because handling cash and then managing feed payments or other payments on the back end, especially say loan payments on the back end, is a very difficult journey. So bank payments and digital payments allow them to quickly manage their cash flows well and also keep a well accounted track for their business. So we become the you can say the entire business champion for the farmers, where we provide end-to-end support for them to ensure that the income increases. On the bottom line, if the farmer is earning more with us, today the baseline on a platform is 25 to 30% more income compared to their previous setup or that they were working in. Now this is huge. If a farmer were earning, say, for example, 1 lakh rupees hypothetically, now they are earning 1,30,000, which when you compound and go forward, this is major income for them, which they can invest again in opening new sheds, or they can invest in, say, other side businesses, or in growth of their business. That is our endeavor on the farmer level.
I think 25 to 30% income growth is impressive. I think that's the bottom line for any farmer. That at the end of the day, he's getting more money by dealing with Eggoz rather than with any other company. Last point, Abhishek, you said you want to be the Amul of eggs. How do you see Eggoz transforming the egg industry in the coming years? Why? Because you have branded the egg, and the market, as you rightly said, 35-40 crores eggs per day, 80,000 crores a year is the value. I think going ahead, more and more players will show interest and come into this segment, this product category.
Oh yes. See, in terms of how Egos is going to transform the category, it is our objective that our objective is one of the objective is to organize the sector and increase penetration of Egos eggs in the overall category, and also packaged eggs in a way, because that is what we're doing, which is category creation and moving people from unbranded to branded. For us, it goes down to our fundamental belief that the product that we're selling has to be the best and has to be standardized. And we strongly believe that if we are to provide that proposition to consumers, then they will shift and they will also stick, which is what we observed in the last a few years of launching the brand. Now, when we talk about consumers and other categories, let's say the example of say atta or dairy or say pulses or spices, significant branded penetration has already happened in all of these categories, which is far more than what has happened in eggs. And it has happened because there were, leaders and example in this category that gave these promises that the quality is the best and it is standardized. I think at the core of it, for a food brand, these two are the very core fundamentals where the entire business has to be built around and move forward. So that is going to be our objective going forward for many years, is to build the entire egg category. As a company and as a team, we are extremely laser focused on doing one thing and doing it very well, which is eggs, and we are extremely obsessed about it. Now, speaking of whether other people will enter and this will become competitive. I think that is we as a company we welcome that with our open shoulders, that we want this category to be created, and in any category there can be multiple players that can coexist together. And I think when more people enter this category, and when they also start investing significantly in their product quality, in their customer acquisition, it will only accelerate the shift from unbranded to branded, which as a company we really welcome. So we are very welcome of more competition entering this play. At the end of it, the consumer can make their choice, and I'm very sure from experience that consumer always chooses quality first for their daily need product, and that is where we are putting our entire obsession and effort behind to be the best in that. But yes, the category has to grow, which is also the future of this category.
The category has to grow, the consumer will benefit. Abhishek Negi, what are the lessons you have learned in creating Eggoz Nutrition?
I think that's a very deep question. There are many lessons.
Succinctly, if you can tell us 1, 2, 3 lessons that you have learned, because this is something which is valuable to any and all entrepreneurs.
For me, business-wise, I think there are numerous lessons, and which goes, I think, every day or every week is a new learning point for us, because we are growing really fast and we're trying to build it along the go, and we're new to this, so we're really learning a lot of things. For me personally, I what I've learned and what I've strengthened my belief on is to be very honest and transparent in your dealings with anyone. Now, be it with farmers, be it your consumers, be it your team members, employees, or be it your investors and shareholders. It is very important to be brutally honest. Building a company is not easy. It's always, there are a lot of challenges which will go around, and I think it is always important to take support and help from people out there who are aligned towards your vision and objective, and ask for help, ask for guidance. And for that, you have to be brutally honest. so that you can explain your issue and challenge to them, and take their guidance. So that has been my learnings, and this is a learning which I think my co-founders will also resonate with me, because that is the kind of culture we are trying to build in our company, where if you need help, ask for it. If there is an issue, be very open with it, explain it in a very honest manner, and have very transparent dealings with anyone you're having on a regular basis.
So ask for help as and when you need it. Be honest and be transparent in your dealings. These are the lessons that Abhishek has learned. With this, Abhishek, we move to the last round, and that is the rapid fire round. I am going to ask you around 7-8 questions, and you have to answer it rapidly. What is your favorite feature of Eggoz Nutrition?
Highly nutritious.
Highly nutritious. What is the most memorable customer feedback you have received?
Most recently, a consumer told us that their vitamin D levels have more than doubled, and they posted it on one of the posts I had made on LinkedIn. I think that will be the highlight of the consumer feedback that we have received.
Awesome. With that, what is the most challenging aspect of running a brand like Eggoz Nutrition?
Getting your message across to consumers in the most cost-effective manner. It would be one of the challenging aspects of building a brand.
If you could collaborate with any celebrity for an endorsement, who would it be?
I don't think I have an answer for that at this stage. I think,
Okay.
rapidly my answer would be I don't have an answer.
You don't have. Fine. If you had to describe Eggoz Nutrition's brand personality in 3 words, what would they be?
Witty and knowledgeable.
Witty and knowledgeable.
Absolutely.
Okay. If you could give one superpower to Eggoz eggs, what would it be?
I think one superpower would be to run really fast, scale really fast to all of the retail counters and become available in more and more retail points as fast as possible.
Name one brand you see as your closest competitor.
I think in this space we do see various local brands. So in North India we see SK Bajaj as our closest competitor. In Bangalore and southern area we see Sugna as our closest competitor, which are out there. However, as a company we see Loose Eggs as the main competitor.
Last question: if you could describe the future of your brand in one word, what would it be?
Amul of Eggs.
Amul of Eggs.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. So that was Abhishek Negi, co-founder of Eggoz Nutrition. Thank you very much for sharing your insights with us today, Abhishek. It was wonderful having here with you at D2C Dialogues. I look forward to interact in the future, and all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, Hitesh. It was a pleasure speaking with you and answering your questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much.